What is the best source of protein to eat and how to prepare it? Coming up. Hi everyone, this is Dr. Ernesto from AttaBoyCowBoy, and on this channel we give you health and wealth tips to help you be more successful. Now, another question I get a lot about protein is, what is the best protein source to take? Well, I made another video already on the 5 tips for choosing the optimal protein source, but now let me talk about the optimal protein source. That's beans. And let me give you my top 10 beans and why they're good, and then I'm going to talk about how to prepare them so you can optimize them, get the most protein out of them. So my top 10 beans are going to be lima beans, peanuts, which are actually a type of bean, they're not a nut, navy beans, pinto beans, soybeans, black beans, kidney beans, peas, lentils, and chickpeas. And the reason I mention all those is because I buy all of them. And I actually cook them in small quantities and I mix them into my meals so I can get a variety of protein sources. Now, I don't just do that because I'm a vegetarian. I do it because they are the best protein source. Whether you're a bodybuilder or you're 90 years old and you're just trying to stay healthy, beans are the best. Let me tell you why. First thing I looked at is antioxidant content. Now, 1 cup of blueberries has a lot of antioxidants, and this 1 cup, let's say it's a 1 cup of pinto beans, actually has more antioxidants than this 1 cup of blueberries. Yet this cup of blueberries costs 40 times more than this 1 cup of pinto beans. I thought that was interesting because a lot of folks don't have a lot of money and they're like, hey man, I can't afford to buy blueberries, doc, those are expensive. Yeah, I understand. So you can do pinto beans. In fact, my family that lives in Mexico on the ranch, they eat pinto beans every day because they're not very well off. And a lot of my aunts, uncles, grandparents, they lived over 100 years. A lot of it is because of all the antioxidants the food has. And it has a very high bioavailability. So let's say this 1 cup of beans was 1 cup of beef or chicken or fish. It's about 20 grams of protein. After you digest it, after you cook it, digest it and everything else, you're gonna absorb maybe 5 grams of protein out of it. That's called bioavailability. Beans have a very high bioavailability, which means you can absorb a lot of the protein that's actually in it. So this may have about 20 grams, it is actually about 20 grams of protein here in this 1 cup, which is a burrito. And I'm going to absorb between 15 and maybe 18 grams of protein. So think about that. With this 1 cup of beans, I can absorb the same amount of protein as I would in 3 cups of meat protein, animal protein. Now on paper, the animal protein is going to say 60 grams, and you're going to say, wow, that's too much. It's a huge steak and 2 burgers or whatever. I can't eat all that. You're not going to absorb all of it because of the bioavailability. It's very low in animal protein, very high in plant proteins. That's why plant proteins are so popular these days. Now, another reason is resistant starch. That's one of my favorite reasons. Now, beans have a type of starch that's really hard to break down. It's like a fiber, let's say. So it gets stuck and it moves slowly through your intestines. That helps your body have time to absorb that protein, number 1. Number 2, your gut bacteria love it. So they feast on it, and that creates a lot of health benefits for you, like a lot of different vitamins that are made in your intestines, B vitamins, and it's also good for your general health and anti-aging. It's going to help prevent colon cancer, a lot of really good health benefits. And resistant starch is one of the best things for weight loss if you're trying to lose weight. Because you eat a cup of beans with each meal, you're going to eat a lot less, and you're going to stay full a lot longer. So that's a really important thing. Aside from that, again, high in protein, very cheap protein source, high bioavailability like I mentioned, helps lower cholesterol. And another one of my favorite tips is that it's eco-friendly. Now, I have a bag here of garbanzos, and these are grown in North Dakota. Now, if you've ever been to North Dakota, there's almost no one there. It's one of the least populated states in the United States. That's because it's very dry, very poor soil quality, and there's very little water out there. There's a lot of rocks. But those places are ideal for growing beans. And those are places where people don't really want to live. So they're very eco-friendly. In fact, when it comes to the environment, the number one driver for global warming is not cars and factories and all this stuff. It's meat production for human beings. It's the number one global greenhouse gas producer. So you're really having a positive impact on the environment. And also, if you think about it, like here in California where I live, we use prime real estate to grow lettuce and all this great food that we have here. We're blessed to have. But it's on beachfront property, a lot of it. There are places where a lot of people want to live. And we're still going to need that, because obviously I still want to eat spinach and greens and other good things. But again, beans help take advantage of places where people don't want to live, and they're very unsavory soil conditions. In fact, my family that I mentioned earlier that lives in Mexico, they live up high in the mountains, and the soil quality is very poor. There's a ton of rocks in it, and it's just not very good for growing anything else but beans. And that's what they live off of, and that's why they're all living over 100 years. So beans are really good. Now, let me explain how you want to prepare beans. There's a certain way to prepare it. So, as I mentioned, there's like the top 10, my favorite beans, but pretty much any bean or legume is high. I really like to buy this product. This is a mixed bean. It's called Fiesta, and it has 16 beans in it. It has a whole bunch of different beans in it. And it's really cool because it gives you a variety. Now, it's like taking a multivitamin. If you think of your body as like a car has thousands of parts. So you can't eat the same stuff all the time. You gotta mix it up. That's really important. It's key to having optimal health and nutrition. So I like this because it gives you a variety of different beans and legumes, 16 of them. You're gonna get a variety of different nutrients in your body. So a lot of patients will tell me, well, doc, I get a lot of gas when I eat beans. Well, that provides an opportunity. To avoid the gas, you can use epazote, which is an herb. You can cook it with your beans, and that helps reduce the gas, the flatulence, upset stomach, stuff like that people get. But a better option is to soak your beans. Now, I'll get my beans, my garbanzos, my pinto beans, my mixed beans, whatever bean it is. I put them in water and I soak them overnight. What that does, beans have a starch in them called raffinose. And raffinose is what causes that flatulence or that gas when you eat beans. When you soak them overnight like that, you wake up or you activate the enzymes inside the beans. Remember, beans are alive. They're like seeds. They are seeds. So if you plant these, you're going to get a plant out of them. So when you soak them in water, they actually get activated. They come to life. Those enzymes get activated and they start eating. They need to eat. They eat that raffinose. So it reduces the amount of flatulence you're going to get by eating beans. Also, it's going to increase substantially the nutrient content of those beans. That's why I really like soaking them. It's going to increase the protein content. Now, it's not going to add more nutrients, but it's going to magnify the ones that are in it. If you live in a warmer climate, you can get the beans, put them in water, and keep them in the fridge so they don't ferment. Because then they ferment, they taste kind of nasty. That's not good. You don't want that. You just want them to soak and sprout. You want to sprout them. So I'll get them and leave them in the fridge when it's warm in the summer. Sometimes for 2 days, or 3 days, because obviously the cold also slows down the sprouting process. But definitely sprout your beans. It's going to help decrease the gas, increase protein content, and increase the nutrient content of your beans. Now, what I do is I cook various types of beans. I'm going to show you here. I have some cooking on the pot here, and what I do is I cook them and I store them in the fridge in different containers, and I eat them with my different meals, whether it be a salad, or if I have an omelet in the morning, or a burrito or whatever I want to eat. I eat a cup of beans with it. I get my fiber, my antioxidants. It's very nutritious. So I had some patients that were Asian, and they were asking me, hey man, how can I increase my muscle content, doctor? And I told them, well, you know, they told me they ate a lot of rice in their diet. You can sub it out. You can eat beans as a staple diet, as a staple food, sorry. And it's much more nutritious. You're gonna get a lot more benefits out of it than eating rice. So it's gonna help you bulk up a little bit more and keep you thin. So let me show you what I'm cooking here in my pot. All right, so here's my beans. Here's my mixed beans here. These were soaked for 2 days in the fridge, and then I slow cooked them. If you have like a pressure cooker or a crock pot, you can do that. You can soak them in there for a while. I eat those with a lot of my meals. And then here are my garbanzo beans. I love garbanzo beans. These are great for salads and stuff. So I put these in my salads. I mix them in with a lot of the dishes I make. And again, very nutritious, and they store really well in the fridge. So I can leave them there for the whole week and just use them whenever I want them. And to add to nutritional content, a lot of my beans I add fresh garlic. I love Christopher Ranch garlic. It's fresh, it's organic, grown on very good soil, so it's good quality garlic. But whatever garlic you can get a hold of is good, and onion. So beans are really easy to make. In fact, a lot of these even have they have a recipe on the back. They have cooking instructions. They're one of the easiest things to cook. I tell a lot of my patients that are single, you know, to start adapting these habits of cooking beans. I buy this 25-pound bag here. This will last me 6 months or more. It's dried, so I could just pull it out, store it in the cabinet, use it as I need it. Nothing goes wrong, so it's good stuff. So it's just beans, onions, garlic, salt, and then whatever other stuff you like, but they're really easy to prepare, very nutritious, can help you lose weight, help you build muscle, has a lot of benefits. So again, beans are one of my favorite protein sources, if not the best protein source you could eat. And if you haven't already, I recommend you introduce them into your diet slowly. And you're gonna have a lot of health benefits out of it. So thank you again for watching. And if you have any comments, please comment below and I'm happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.